Hello, I'm Jeff Siegel. Welcome to Saturday on Anita.com. Welcome to Sunshine Millions Day. Great card, 10 races to handicaps. Let's get right to it. Don't forget, first post noon on Saturday, so get there early. Although I have to admit, the first race doesn't intrigue me, so you may not want to dive in real early in the program. First race is a maiden special weight for California-bred 3-year-old fillies, and I don't trust anything in here. The number 1 filly ran all right, Swiss Charm in her debut. I don't know how good she really is. I don't know how kind of a good of a race that she comes out of. She does, however, have maybe a decent enough line to win. A bunch of first-time starters, none of whom have been all that impressive in the morning, according to the private clockers. So I'm going to pass the race. I don't really have a great feel for it. So let's watch the first and wait till race number 2 to get interested. And this is a pretty good race here. The second race, maiden event for 3-year-olds, some very promising young horses. The number 1 horse in the program, Toga Betsu, ran, I thought, a pretty good race first time out, and he certainly deserves favoritism based on that race. This is a Bob Baffert trained colt, ran early in December, was a good second. It was a decent race, not a great race, but a decent race. But he's come back and trained well. Bob's record with second-time starter is always good, and you know how well Baffert's done at the meeting so far. So he's sort of logical, I would think. But Steve Asmussen has a very promising first-time starter here. The number 6 colt, Le Mans is his name, a Warfront colt. Another one of those running war fronts, and this colt has trained really well. Now, he doesn't have any fancy workouts, only blazing times, but from what we've been told, he has looked really good in the morning. Outside draw, looks dead fit and ready to fire, and he's 6-1 in the morning line. So definitely use Le Mans, and at that price, you may want to consider him in the straight pool. But the number 1 horse, Toga Betsu, probably the best, and certainly the best of the known elements, since he's the only horse in the race that has raced once. And maybe number 6, Le Mans, the best of the firsters. So let's go that way, 1-6, 6-1 in your exacta box, and then consider Le Mans in the straight pool for Steve Asmussen, who, by the way, doesn't usually ask his maidens for much in the morning. They usually run better than they work, and Le Mans just might be an example of that. Moving to the third race, claiming event, fillies and mares in for 12-5, a restricted claimer, non-winners of 2. And 3 main contenders here. At number 1, Simply Put, also number 2, Pivotal Queen, and number 6, Champagne and Lilies. The one that intrigues me the most, Champagne and Lilies, she's stretching out after a couple of sprints off a layoff. I think she's going to be forwardly placed here in a good spot. I think she'll run well. Pedroza rides her back for Vladimir Serin. And so I think she's a live one. Number 6, Champagne and Lilies. Obviously, 8-5 on the morning line is not a lot of value there. Number 1, Simply Put, 5-1 should be used. Going to get a good inside trip, inside draw. And Pivotal Queen, who hasn't been out actually since April, but returns in a modest spot for Ben Cecil. Seems to be training well, so she could fire fresh as well. Not a great race, but if you're playing any rolling exotics, consider all 3, 1, 2, and 6. Maybe slight preference to number 6, Champagne for Lilies. I'm not keen on the 4th race here at all. This is a maiden race for older $20,000 claimers. This is the bottom rung here. I don't have anything positive to say about any of these horses, other than the fact that I know somebody's going to win. Hostile Waters along the rail, number 1, was beaten in a photo last time out. I guess if he would have run back to that race, he'd be a major player here. Warren's Wild Thing has numbers that could win, number 4, but he's a 13-race maiden. Not sure you want to trust him. And number 6, K Gems, he ran all right first time out for Sherlock, may improve. To give you an idea how weak this race is, he was 46-1 in his debut. Today, he's 5-2 in the morning line. So, again, someone has to win. I don't have any confidence in any of them. I'm going to pass the 4th race. Sunshine Millions Day kicks off now for the 5th race with the sprint. Cost of Freedom, number 3, is even money on the morning line. He's certainly going to be the lowest price horse on the program. And he's a hard one to knock. He's won 3 in a row. He's just essentially been beating this kind of field all along. Most recently winning the Miles Tyson with a giant career top 115 buyer number. So that's going to make him hard to beat. The one horse that might give him a run for his money is the number 6, Quick Enough. It's the first start on dirt, finally, for this veteran gelding, who I really do believe certainly is bred to like the dirt, being by Highbright. out of a Moscow Ballet Mare. He's been running with some good horses, 2 races back, second to Cost of Freedom. Last time on a pretty good second to Dilemma in the Daytona down the hill. But he gets a chance on dirt, training well. P-Val rides him back. Maybe he can make a run for it. I don't think he'll beat Cost of Freedom, but I think Quick Enough is certainly the second horse in the race. So there's your exact if you want to play that play with the 2 horses coming out of I think good races, and one coming out of the Miles Tyson, the other one coming out of the Daytona. Cost of Freedom, Quick Enough, I think they'll dominate 3-6-6-3 in your exacta box. Moving now to the 6th race. This is the Sunshine Millions Turf. Very good race. The 2 main players, as far as I'm concerned here, number 3, Geronimo, and number 5, Cara Cortado. Now, obviously, the usual QT has credentials. There's no getting around that. He's won 3 out of 4 on this turf course. Was a little flat when beaten at 3-5 by Geronimo in the San Gabriel. I think he'll be fitter and tougher, but it's possible that the usual QT maybe not quite as good now as he was when he was all the rage last summer. Whereas Geronimo is really doing well. He's come back to train extremely well for Michael Pender since his very impressive win in the San Gabriel. I don't see any reason why he won't run back to that race. If he does, he's really, really tough. He looks like he's really found a home on turf, undefeated in 2 starts. But Cara Cortado, who was so impressive in his only grass race that was sprinting at Hollywood Park, ran remarkably well, I thought, in the Malibu to rally to be finished 3rd behind Twirling Candy. A couple of triple-digit Beyer numbers in his last 2. He is training unbelievably well. Looks great for Mike Mikowski. I think Cara Cortado will continue his outstanding form and really make this a race for Geronimo. So 3-5-5-3 in my exacta box there. Geronimo and Cara Cortado. Maybe slight preference to Cara Cortado, but I would definitely use them both in all of your rolling exotics. 7th race, the Sunshine Millions Distaff. Tons of speed in this race. I think Brecat, number 3, doesn't necessarily need the lead to win, so I think she's probably going to be the one to beat here. She's 4-1 on the morning line. That's a good price. She's won her last 2, coming back from Delta Downs, where she was a romping winner of the treasure chest in very impressive fashion. P-Val stays aboard. All Due Respect is a very sharp Kathy Walsh-trained filly who looked really good winning her last start, earned a 100 Beyer number, so she's right there with these. And how can you not throw out Evening Jewel, even though she was very disappointing down the hill in the Monrovia? She's obviously capable of bouncing back. Her dirt form is outstanding. She's come back and trained really well since that disappointing run down the hill for James Cassidy. I'm not going to say she can't win, so I'm going to throw her in number 7, Evening Jewel. 3, 6, and 7, my exacta or trifecta box. Brecat gets slight preference, but I respect All Due Respect. She is definitely on the upgrade, and Evening Jewel's got all that back class that you have to consider. 3, 6, and 7 in today's 7th race, the Sunshine Millions Distaff. 8th race, 6.5 down the hill, and the 3 main players here are numbers 4, 6, and 7. Number 4 is Ace of Aces. Number 6, Pack Your Bags. 7 is Sterling Outlook. Very difficult to separate these 3. All 3 capable of winning. Ace of Aces, close up 5th down the hill. He certainly has a right to move forward today. Talamo riding him back for Jeff Mullins. Pack Your Bags, beating the neck in a similar spot here earlier this month. He's training well since then for Eddie Truman. You certainly can make a case for him. And also number 7, Sterling Outlook, who comes out of the same race as a Pack Your Bags, was right in the photo throughout for Peter Miller, should be on the pace. Gomez staying aboard. He's right there with these. So any one of those 3, 4, 6, and 7, hard to separate. Maybe slight preference to Sterling Outlook. He may have a little bit more early speed than the others, but any one of the 3 could win. So spread if you're playing your rolling exotics. 9th race, I'm going to use just 2 horses here. 2 and 4 in your program. Number 2 is Word Association. 4 is Hot Affair. So 2-4 for the exacta players. Word Association, pretty good second in the Cat's Cradle in her last start over to Hollywood behind Ultra Blend. Shortening back to 6.5. That might be a better trip for her. She's got that good stalking style. She'll get a good inside ground saving trip. 3-1. Definitely play Word Association. But number 4, Hot Affair, lightly raced filly, is very genuine and consistent, never worse than 2nd in 5 career starts. Earned a 90 Beyer, a career top number in her last race when she was 2nd. She certainly has a right to run at least as well, if not better, with Rafael Bejarano riding her back for Kristen Mulhall. So use number 4, Hot Affair. So 2 and 4 in that order. Word Association over Hot Affair. Use them both in all of your rolling exotics. 10th and final is a 6.5 down the hill, claiming Grass Grab Bag. the two horses I'm going to use here, numbers 3 and 5. Stone Side, number 3, number 5, A Little Dumani. They both come out of the same race. That was the common race on December 31st. Both ran well. They both finished, very close together. Stone Side was beaten the neck in that race, finished well. The thing about Stone Side, though, he's got 5 wins, but he's got 10 seconds and 8/3, so he doesn't always get there. He doesn't usually punch it in enough to win, but he's dropping for the $32,000 tag, and I think these are his friends. Number 3, Stone Side, along with number 5, A Little Dumani. He's been in the money in his last 4, more than that, the last 6 actually. Third, however, in his last 4 starts, and he's overdue for a win. Gomez rides it back. He should be close up throughout. Won't have to improve all that much since his last race to win. 45 and change blowout recently to have him on edge. So Peter Miller has this gelding all primed and ready for his best race as well. So Stone Side and A Little Dumani, use them both in an exacta box, and you can use them both in all of your rolling exotics. So a good competitive card for Saturday on Sunshine Millions Day. Hope to see you out at the racetrack. Again, thanks for joining us here on SanAnita.com. We'll be back tomorrow with our Sunday analysis. Talk to you then.